Good morning. Welcome to Options Tenders Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome, traders. It's November 8th, 2024. We're going to do something a little bit different because we're headed into a recession. There is no doubt about it. There's a lot of bulls out there, and I'm going to show you my SPX charts. They're very clean, and I think you will get a lot of information out of this. And we can go from there. I know I got a lot of naysayers. I've been commenting and keeping them in the loop here. And I want to give you a strong visual storyline of what I'm looking for in the long term, all the way down to the 65. And we'll check out the VIX real quick, but that's what we're going to leave with because I'm going to spend some time on these charts, okay? So if you're new here, go down to that bottom right-hand corner, hit that Options Tender logo, and subscribe. And by the way, we're doing this video at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to get these videos intraday, consider becoming a supporter, a YouTube member supporter for 99 cents. And we just did the tech market analysis from the top down for individual analysis YouTube members as well. And thanks for the super stickers, the super thanks on there. I think that's the first time I got them. Yesterday I got 2 of them. And so I want to put out a proposal that with the super thanks, if you want to do an individual name top down analysis, go ahead and do that at any cost. That was really cool. And I'll go ahead and do that chart for you. If there's too many, I'll do a separate video on them. Otherwise, I'll tag them at the end of each of my market analysis videos. Okay, so let's jump into it, you guys. Consider playing this video at 1.25 or 1.5 just so you can get this information so much faster, unless you have the time to spend to watch multiple videos. All right, so we have SPX on the monthly maximum time frame of information. We're at the 2029 top here. 2000 top, 21 top didn't actually touch, and the 24 top there. So this top will be more current, and I'll show you that in just a second. So let's look at since we're at such a viewpoint way out here, I want to show you that this is why I'm considering 2 different scenarios for this recession, okay? And that doesn't mean that's the only scenarios that could play out, but I want to give 2 likely scenarios. Right now, we came above the price action. The MACD came above this last top here. So I can't consider that a negative divergence. That's very positive. So in this next recession, and I'll call it pullback on the monthly time frame, we could finally get new highs after that. And continue this trend up there, and maybe a negative divergence in the future. That's neither here nor there. But so this gives us a more positive scenario, and it's still a pretty devastating move. But I'll give you the positive one on the weekly, and then the more negative one here on the monthly time frame. But we still do have a 3 peak here on the RSI, and that's going to reset. It's going to go into the oversold area. And when it does, that's where we'll have to start going and considering long moves here. And so what will that look like? So we'll be looking for the slow stoch to curl over and get a sell signal as well. So what will that look like if we start to move to the downside? You see this super clean trend line from way back to 2029, and some can argue it goes back to the 1800s. I don't have that information available. So let's look at this leg from 2000 and 2008 move. I think this is a wave 4 here. So on a more devastating move, we have a potential channel. Okay. Here's the top of the channel. And then we're at that confluence to the top of this channel. There's the 2024. This is 2008. 2024 or 2021, and now our confluence right here where both of them connect. It's just a beautiful chart. You can't tell me that nothing's going to happen here, nothing to see here. I see it peaking just above it, just a touch. I'll adjust that just to the wick right there. So do we have a couple points left? I don't know. We'll see. So the bottom of this channel is down here towards it, depending on how long it takes to get there. It's a rising channel. You have the 50% retracement of this entire move. So this would be, if this is the more bearish scenario, this becomes a wave 1. This is an impulse wave. So that could be a 5-wave move complete. And we're looking for 50-60% retracement. That would give us a 1-2 setup, and then we start another bull market. And so that would be a pretty big move down to the 3,000. I know that sounds crazy, down to 3,000. And potentially, because this is not a channel bottom, you could get a wick like this or so. Doesn't matter. But we'll keep this here for reference. You have the 200-month moving average. But then potentially, if it wicks below, or it needs to get below to the 62% retracement, which that would be a typical wave 2 pullback, we're at the we're at the 2,300 mark. And that's testing the lows of the Corona crash, 2018, and the 15-16, where Trump was first elected there. So that would be a very, very sharp move. Now, I'll give you a more bullish scenario, and let's go down to the weekly to do this. See, I map out SPX, I have ES, I have all sorts of stuff here. So here is the weekly time frame. So I don't have that channel drawn out here, but you saw that on the monthly time frame. So what we're looking at right now is this correction from 2021 going into 2022. So we have the 100% move here, and I'm assuming that 2009.85, I'll adjust that when price gets there. And I wanted to do this video because we're just points away, and that's the targets that I'll show you later. So if we just correct this move here, so same thing on a lower time frame. This is an impulse wave or a leading diagonal, because I think this is an ending diagonal. So if this is a leading diagonal, then this 5-wave move becomes a wave 1, and we get a pullback for wave 2, and that can be sharp again down to the 50-62%. And it makes a whole lot of sense because it would come down to this 200 moving average on the weekly time frame. Again, I know that's a massive move. That's 1,500 points to the downside, but that's much, much more bullish than the other scenario. So, of course, this could be the point where it's a sharp move down here, where that's a wave 1. We get a bounce, and then we get a lower high into those next stops that I was talking about in the higher time frames. That's a possibility. So both of these could, clearly play out, because if you get a sharp move here down to these levels, then the bounce, the B wave, it could take plenty of time for this to play out. And we'll see when we get there. So, and then it could drop further, or we could just have a brand new bull market. But we'll have to explain that when and if we get there. Okay, you start breaking this 62 underneath this 200 moving average and holding, not just a big wick under it, then you might have a whole nother scenario. Because if we break these lows here, then clearly we're headed down much lower. And this is very bearish. So we could hold the lows and bounce, whatever, but you get the point. Is this is no longer a valid 1 if you break the low here. Okay, so very important for Elliott wave. So this is a more bullish scenario, and let's go ahead and fix our indicators. We haven't done that yet. So we're getting the end of this move into very important resistance with negative divergence on the weekly time frame, and that's so bearish in itself, and you don't have that on the monthly anymore. So maybe this is the bullish setup, and 1,500 points to the downside, bullish setup. 3 peak right here, so negative divergence on the weekly time frame on the RSI, either bull or bear in the long run. You need to consider this scenario. This is what I've been talking about over and over. We're finally getting our sell signal here. So we clearly have divergence and price going higher, getting a sell signal on the slow stoke. I believe that might start playing out when and if we get to 2000 or 6009 today is up in the air. So because we have tech starting to weaken, so we have that rotation out of tech and into small caps right now in the Dow names, and we'll see what happens. But we have a time signature on. We talked about it yesterday. You can look at that video. We have that time price relationship coming up on Monday to Wednesday, that time window, okay? The next week. Let's go to the daily. On the daily time frame, again, just picture perfect. I went and checked all the tops there, and we're just right at it. So we have, what I have is an ending diagonal, and because this is the top of wave 1, consider this wave 1, into wave 2, it matches up perfect with wave 3 with a throwover. That's not unusual for wave 3, A, B, C into 3, and then 2 and 4 headed together there. So we have a complete pattern, and we're getting right back to the top of that pattern there. Did I ever think we were going to make it up there? No, no. I would never go back and say that I knew that would happen. We have tons of people that we have traders and YouTubers that do that stuff and say it in hindsight, but I try to do this every single day so you can kind of map out what exactly I'm doing and check it out real time. Okay, so we're right at that point. We're literally at it, so I don't expect a reversal today, even though the VIX was negative 20% on election night. It could be just an outlier, but typically 10% or over 20% will signify that 95% chance that in the next 2 days you have a down move. We don't have that down. We didn't have the down move yesterday. We don't have it today. So maybe at the end of the day, we just rip to the downside. I don't know, but that's neither here nor there. That's not important. Going into next week, we will look for a reversal. Finally, right? So, and that brings up a good point. While I'm on the daily time frame, we had this correction here, and somebody mentioned, "Hey, are you always bearish in the Discord?" And I said, "No, this." Right here, so we had this correction, and we have the retracements all the way up here. We're getting near. It's not exact. It says 6,016. It's actually 6,009 is the exact number. So when we got down to this point, I actually got in a little bit early here, and we started getting bullish with our videos and the thumbnails. Started getting bullish way back here in August, and we held a bullish tendency here for this wave all the way up until we got to this 127.2 retracement at about 58. That's about 580. I think it was 582, just about on SPY. And we said, hey, we're likely, with all the divergences that were created, going to head lower. Okay, and ultimately we got above it. But see how many days this takes. This takes a long time to mark a top. We got a reversal. We hedged, and I mentioned it in the video. Make sure you hedge. And I hedged with Tesla on this move for the election, and that was a fantastic hedge. And so that's the way I trade, you guys. I'm a swing trader. I put on swing trades way back here, and then you have to protect your trades because they are way out into January 17th, I believe, are the latest ones that I had at the time. And so when your moves start to happen, and we saw that there was positive divergence, and we saw there's positive divergence, we started putting on hedges to the upside, going into the 50 moving average. Okay, so it only makes sense, and that's what that's how I do it. You guys trade the way you can, and that way you're comfortable. Okay, some people just scalp. Okay, so the 162 is what we're looking for ultimately. And again, that's on the SPX at 6,985. So let's go down to the 65. And on the 65, we have this correction here. Oh, I missed something on the weekly. I want to mention something real quick. We'll go back on the weekly. And this just so happens to coincide. So either way, if we get down to here, I think we'll see a good spot to go long in the near term at the 62% retracement. We have a confluence with the 200 moving average. I already said that. But then we have this old triangle, and it's on the daily too, that we had drawn in for quite some time. A long time ago, we were looking at this triangle and it started to break out. I was bearish at the top of the triangle, and I thought we did get our reversal, but then clearly price held, and then after the breakout we had to switch our position there. But look at this. It's just no coincidence. And what we call this is there's a lot of volume in trading here, okay? And so you have a bow and arrow. It goes right in the middle of that triangle. It's also a volume node. So you have a lot of traders that are in here right into this peak here where price consolidates. It's an equilibrium. We start to break out. And so that will be a great point of control, volume shelf. I'm using all these different names that you'll see for when price does come back there, because price will come back here, okay? Whether it goes lower, I don't know. But it will test this breakout zone on this high time frame. And so I want to point that out. That's just no coincidence there, that the symmetry of the market, what it does. And then if we go quickly back to the daily time frame, you see that's the old triangle that we had. So we've had that on there forever now. Okay. And now the 65. On the 65, we had this this bearish rising wedge here, broke down from it, and then with the election, gapped up right on top of it. A perfect gap up right back into that wedge. I'm going to keep this wedge just how it is. On SPY, I built a new wedge from that bottom there because I was thinking to myself, how can I show you guys? You saw the breakdown. That's a sell signal. How would we have any knowing that we can get new highs? And I say it was just not a likely scenario. Okay, so I would do it over and over again to where I thought that this downtrend line would have held price, and a typical for a probability type trade, it would typically get our back test of that trend and head lower. And that would be the back test of this wedge here and head lower. But you just need to know that once it makes it back into that wedge, that clearly it still acts as if it's in the wedge. So we're back at the top. We filled out the wedge, and we're looking for the reversal off of that wedge. So just crystal clear charts from peak to peak right here. And again, we have maybe a throw over, a potential spike through about 10 more points away to the 6,009. And that's pretty much it. Let's show the VIX. So the only information I have on the VIX is that I was studying and saying, well, what's this representing? This sharp move to the downside. Clearly the market made new highs, and with nothing really happening today, I think it's going to dip. The volatility is going to dip just a little bit more. But the structure way down here in the complacency zone at 12 had an impulse move. All right. And so to us, this is all just a correction. We were making higher highs and higher lows. Now we broke that structure. And so how I see this is an A here, a complex correction in here. I'm not going to we had a triangle in this with a little triangle at the end, but I'm not going to try to count that. B, and then a C wave. So that C wave would have to break the lows here of A. And we're looking for that to happen today or Monday. And after that, we'll have a little divergence from an A, B, C correction. And we have freedom to now move to the upside. And this will be our higher low over here from the lows back here. Okay, so this will be the structure. And we can, at that point, draw a downtrend line. Well, we can do it now. But at that point, this will be the breakout zone for any moves higher. But we need to break that low in order for that structure to kind of be complete in that sense, in that mind frame. And the lows here are 14. Lows 1449. I already have the alert set, and we're near there. Just a few more points as price kind of ekes to the upside. We're not doing anything. It should hit that today or Monday. Okay, I hope that helps. We have tons of beautiful charts here in the SPX, and I hope that draws the picture of what I've been talking about and kind of solidifies this. And again, thanks for those super thanks. Thanks for all the likes and all the support here. This channel is growing rapidly, and I really appreciate it. And I hope I can give you the best information to help you trade and for you to learn how to chart as well. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you in the next video.